In the pre-industrial era, America was split into two sections, the North and the South. The North, also known as New England, revolved around the towns and the churches. Townspeople had town meetings in which they discussed issues among the town. This was the start of democracy. Jobs in the North were carried out by the townsmen people and included fishing, whaling, boat building, blacksmiths, tailors, and timber cutters. These jobs were all separate and some were considered craftsmen or artisans. These craftsmen or artisans typically had an apprentice around the age of 12. Unlike the North, the South revolved around plantations. Plantations were giant farms where everybody lived and worked. These plantations were owned by wealthy planters, also known as planters-elite, and caused the South to only have few in power. Jobs in the South were all related to the plantation and used African slaves and indentured servants as its workforce. The main job in the South was farming. People in the South farmed mostly for tobacco, but they also farmed for rice and indigo.
New technology and early industry created many jobs. Instead of one person doing the whole job, many people would do a tiny portion of the job in a giant factory line. This made work boring and less skilled. Invention in this time made production of goods faster and easier. One of the inventions was the cotton gin. Cotton seeds had to be separated before it was made into cloths. The cotton gin made this faster by putting the cotton in the machine and turning a crank to separate the seeds instead of by hand. Many other inventions, such as the steel plow and telegraph, also changed life in early industry. New technology and transportation made moving people and goods much faster and reliable. Before this new technology, transportation was carried out by animals or boats. This was slow and unreliable. The steam engine railroad changed all of this. The steam engine could move faster than a boat or animal-drawn carriage and did not slow down or stop because of the weather. It also allowed cities to be built virtually anywhere because train tracks could be built almost anywhere, unlike boats, which only allowed cities to be built on oceans, lakes, and rivers. Over time, railroads went from having many medium-sized railways to having some large railways with smaller railroads branching off of them. The consolidation of these smaller railways made transportation even faster. Now it wasn't required to unload the cargo from one train on one railway to another on another railway, because they were all connected. The creation of the standard gauge assured that all trains and railways were compatible. Government and early industry was very cooperative with businesses in America. They put embargoes on other countries. Embargoes were bans on trades with certain countries. For example, the embargo on Britain in 1808 forced people to buy from American companies and made the companies richer. The government also supported companies by putting taxes on imported goods. These were known as tariffs. The tariffs did not completely shut out other countries like embargoes, but greatly influenced on what Americans bought. An example is if an American business sells a boat for $5,000 and Britain is selling a very similar boat for $4,000. America's tariff would cause Britain's boat to cost around $6,000, so you would be more likely to buy American instead of British. The government also put little laws for businesses. This was called a laissez-faire government. Businesses did not need the safety, pay, and other things that they have today. Instead, the conditions were terrible in the workplace. It was hot, muggy, loud, and cramped. The machines were dangerous, and the medical care was horrible. Children could also work in the factories without restrictions. They were paid less than a grown male and worked the same or even more hours. Because they were cheaper, many businesses hired more and more child workers. It was also hard to keep a job. The danger made injuries more prone, and if you couldn't work, you would get fired and replaced. Some factory owners referred to their workers as machines. If it breaks and can't be fixed, it will be replaced. John D. Rockefeller used the laissez-faire to his advantage like most people. His company, Standard Oil, began as an oil refining company. He believed oil refinery was much safer investment than searching for oil. As his business grew, he began to horizontally and vertically expand his business. First, he bought out other companies that did oil refining. Then he began to buy companies that related to his company, such as railroads and oil digging companies. This allowed his money to stay with him instead of paying someone else to do things for him. This was known as a monopoly and eventually could only be stopped by the government. After the government stopped him, they began to pass more laws involving businesses.
In the 1920s, the progressive reforms all led into the post-industrial era. In the 1920s, the first automobile was created. When automobiles was created, so were a lot of other things, such as assembly lines being made to create products faster and cheaper. Also, wages went up and the hours of work went down. Highways, roads, and suburbs were all created. Then were the progressive reforms like child labor laws, income tax, workers' compensation, women's suffrage, building codes, meat inspection act, and so on. These types of things led on to the post-industrial era. During the post-industrial era, factory work started to disappear in the U.S. and go overseas, but service sector jobs started to increase in America. This was good because the prices stayed low and were cheaper because factory work was overseas. But at the same time, it was bad because service sector jobs were low-paying jobs, unlike factory working jobs. And almost all of service sector jobs were temporary, which was not good. These temporary jobs will go to young workers because the business can hire at necessary times and then just fire them at any time when not needed anymore. The production of goods during this time were being made cheaper because the factory work was going overseas. The American economy was happy with this because they mostly had low-paying jobs and they could afford these goods because they were being made cheaper across the country. There were so many changes during this time because of the different things leading up to this. There was changes like high-tech jobs that were a higher pay, but to get these jobs you needed a specialized skill to work in this industry. Also, international trade that became free trade, which meant businesses that could expand due to cheaper labor, and it made the world a bit safer due to the connections with other countries, so there would be less likely to be wars. So these changes helped make the world a better and safer place.